say definitively that religions are all bullshit.
Welcome to Brainstorm.
We have the explicit tag for a reason.
This is a base level argument to a higher level morality.
I get paid to science?
Two science as much as one can science.
What the hell was my point?
Trigger warning. The Brainstorm podcast will criticize your most cherished beliefs. We attack nonsense in all its forms and discuss difficult subjects. If you peddle pseudoscience, supernatural woo, or religious dogma, then this is not your safe place. This is the home of hardcore skepticism.
Hey, and welcome to Brainstorm Podcast. This is episode 49, and today is July 7th, 2016. I'm Corey, and my panel tonight are Renee.
Hello.
Angela.
Hi.
Leo.
Hey.
With the always amazing Dave doing sound here in Roman Empire Studios.
2.0.
Yeah, 2.0. We're in Regina, Saskatchewan. Tonight's show is brought to you by Reasonist Inc., atheist, skeptic, and science-based apparel. You can find them at reasonistinc.com. All right, so we're back.
Hello.
Thanks. I need... Actually, can you get me my hat as well? Before we do the educational portion or the religious nuttery, we had a contest on the podcast, on the Facebook page. We didn't. It was supposed to be we reached 500 downloads of the new episode through people sharing and liking the newest post with the episode with David Smalley.
Yes.
And if we hit 300 or 500, then I was going to offer to buy a randomly selected person a shirt from Absence of Clothing, a shirt from Reasonist.com, Reasonist Inc., or a shirt from our Brainstorm Podcast Cafe Press store. We didn't. We hit about 350. But
It's not bad.
I figured we got enough of a response that we could draw a name out of my hat and we could give somebody a t-shirt. I brought the names. I just got to find them.
Corey's wearing the shirt right now. It's pre-worn by Corey.
Pre-worn
Sweet.
by Corey, if you like that sort of...
And I only see minor armpit stains.
You can snuggle it at night.
We had to shut off the
and have his musk.
So I've got a bunch of names. Everybody who liked or shared the podcast link on Facebook is in this little baggie.
Sweet.
So we're going to throw those in the hat. I don't know what order they're in.
I don't have a drum roll sample, sorry.
No drum roll sample. But we're good. Renee to pick one out.
Okay.
All right. Who do we got? We got... fuck. Alden.
Damn it.
Oh,
Nepotism.
That seemed like that was fucking fixed.
Goddamn Alden gets a fucking...
Let's check those, see if they're not all Alden.
Are you sure?
They're definitely not all Alden.
Oh, yeah.
swear.
I see some other names.
So I guess...
Congratulations, Alden.
Alden, shoot me your address. I'll order you a shirt. Let me know what shirt you want from which website. And
That fucker's not even listening tonight. Like
I know
He
the
isn't.
bastard. That's
damn
two
it.
in a row he hasn't listened to live.
But yeah, should we berate
We
our
have so
listeners?
few listeners that we know when they're not listening.
That's right. We know when you're listening.
It's almost like Santa Claus.
Kayla thinks you meant to
it's
say
about-
Kayla. You meant to say Kayla. I think.
I'm sorry, Kayla. I was actually really hoping that I would pull your name.
I think Kayla just deserves a shirt.
I think she does, yeah. But maybe we'll do this again, and we'll announce it on the actual show that we're recording that we'll then do a podcast for. And
Yes. Yes.
maybe we'll get a few extra
That's a
shares
good
and
idea.
likes.
That's a good idea.
Not this episode, though. Maybe another one.
Well, you know that between the David Smalley interview and now Dave Edwards, at least we know that these kind of bumps in the road happen even to the best of podcasts. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
So thanks everybody who shared and liked the episode. That was, I don't know, that was super cool. We didn't hit 500, but we did hit like 350.
That's good.
In 2 weeks, that ain't bad for an episode for us. Ain't bad.
Ain't bad.
That's awesome.
Well, I'll tell you about something that is bad.
What's bad?
In a moment.
Okay.
I want to hear
In a
that.
moment. Let's get some...
get my gag reflex
let's get
ready.
the religious nuttery bumper going.
Cornerstone, this might be new to some of you. Scripture says that even our righteous deeds are as filthy rags to God. So even the good things that you do, even things like feeding the hungry and clothing the poor and taking in widows and orphans, as nice as those things are, if not done from the place of obedience to and a relationship with God, are completely worthless and disgusting to God. If you're not daily walking in a place of relationship to God, then the news that we have to bring you is that you're on your way to hell right now.
Yes, that still makes me angry every time I listen to it.
I try to not listen to that because
you're on your way to hell right now, even if you do good things.
Cheers.
Cheers.
See you there, guys.
All right. So for those of you who don't know, it turns out Canada still has a blasphemy law.
Yes.
We
Silliness.
are right up there with Saudi Arabia. I'm kidding. It's not quite that bad.
It's not quite that bad.
Not
We
quite.
don't put that many people to death every day.
I mean, every once in a while. No, so Canada still has a blasphemy law that's been on the books since 1890 something. And in recent years, there has been some uproar and people are asking for it to be removed. Most recently, the BC Humanist Association started a petition to get it removed from the Canadian Criminal Code. So the petition has reached enough signs that it now has to be brought to the House.
Nice.
So it at least has to be mentioned in the House on the agenda at some point. So that's a good sign.
And we don't have a conservative majority, so there's a chance that it'll actually get attention.
And the thing is, it's not at all like Saudi Arabia. So we haven't actually convicted anybody under that law in the last 80 years.
Right.
And it hasn't even brought up, or like charges haven't been brought up in the last 35 years. So it's not actually a big deal. It's more of a symbolic thing that we should not be having this shit. Like, we criticize other countries for having blasphemy laws, and we need to remove ours from the books as well. So the blasphemy law, I'm going to go over the points, exactly what it says. It's the Canada's Criminal Code, Section 296. And number 1, it goes like this. Everyone who publishes a blasphemous libel is guilty of an indictable offense and liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years. Number 2, it's a question of fact whether or not any matter of that is published is a blasphemy libel. Number 3,
It's a bit wordy.
Yeah,
legal document.
It was also written 80 years ago.
Yeah.
So
it was written over 100 years ago. 1891, I think. I'm not
wow.
But 1892. But and the third point says, no person shall be convicted of an offense under this section for expressing in good faith and in decent language, or attempting to establish by argument used in good faith and conveyed in decent language an opinion on a religious subject, which basically means it doesn't apply if you are just debating. So if you're legitimately debating a point, you can say things.
Okay.
But it kind of implies that it has to be of malicious intent, like where you're actually making fun of somebody or something.
That would be really hard to prove.
So those are some of the main things, some of the main criticisms.
Yeah.
It is almost impossible to prove in the first place because with this wording, it doesn't even make proper sense. So any lawyer nowadays could just talk his way out of it.
Right.
And it also flies in the face of our charter.
Yeah, which gives us the freedom to express ourselves. So,
Didn't come into what? That was 1984.
Ish. It might have been
the
80.
charter.
Yeah, it was in the 80s.
Well,
Sometime
it was the Constitution and the charter were drafted in 82.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, 82, not 84.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Okay.
But so really this law is for all intents and purposes useless, but nonetheless it still exists.
Silliness. But
it's one of those good old dead laws that just...
there has been good feedback from this petition, though, right, to get rid of it. So,
and it seems like something that everybody could get behind, even from the most religious to the most non-religious.
Right.
Everybody can get behind this because, in every religion, basically, because now, I mean, Canada has many different religions, and no one religion wants to be threatened by a different religion.
Yeah.
That if we say something bad about those guys, we could go to prison for up to 2 years. So it's in everybody's best interest that you not go to jail for saying something. That's
right.
So this is not something that the conservatives would probably even fight. They might not really push it through.
Yeah, they wouldn't even.
But this is not a very political issue that one side of the aisle would really support and the other side wouldn't.
Yeah, that's fair. I find it odd to think that anybody wouldn't support this, but I also find it odd to think that anybody wouldn't support removing prayer from legislative assemblies and, just general things like that.
Well, that's a little bit different because this is not actually – this law does not endorse – if the law said that Christians can say what they want but all other religions can't, then – or that you can't blaspheme against the Christian religion, then you would have people taking sides. But this is so general.
Yeah.
This is Christians would probably be the first ones to go to prison if it was enforced.
Right,
like
because
truly, because they will directly say from their pulpit that yes, Muslims go to hell. For saying that, you could indict them possibly. So so this is really in the best interest of everybody who wants to speak,
right?
To get this removed because technically, I mean, this law is so general and vague. Anything could be considered blasphemous libel.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm preaching to the choir here, man. Preaching to the choir.
Yeah. I kind of just hope that it goes.
Yeah.
It's cool that they've received enough signatures that now Parliament needs to actually listen to what they have to say.
And I think it's a very good law, like a good practice, that if you get any petition that you sign, if you get enough signatures, they have to put it on the agenda.
Right.
Yeah.
So they don't have to actually talk about it necessarily. They can just mention it. Oh, this is on the agenda. We're done.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
it still
But
needs
it's
to
there.
be. So it's a way of people actually voicing their concerns and opinions, and in a way that they actually have to be listened to by the people that make the decisions.
Yeah. Well,
that's cool.
All right, JT.
I had a thought and then lost it.
It'll come back to you.
I'm sure.
Too much clam juice.
Too much clam juice.
Too
that's
much
right.
clam juice.
Goddamn clam juice. No, I was sent this by Greg Oliver of the Canadian Secular Alliance. And then it's been mostly promoted by BC Humanist. So it gets quite a bit of, among the Canadian secular movement, it's got quite a bit of legs.
And CFI Canada also published an article,
Right.
it must be several months ago, about this, like the blasphemy law.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things that needs to get done at some point because it is one of the core values of our democracy. That something that separates our laws from Saudi Arabia. And though our law the law itself is not much better than Saudi Arabia's law. It's just that we don't enforce it.
Right.
Yeah.
So either way, it needs to go because we really want Saudi Arabia and other countries of the like to remove their blasphemy laws because it hurts a lot of people around the world and are persecuted for it.
Yes.
Yeah, it just seems like in general it's a obvious violation of free speech, right?
Yeah.
And that's why nobody has been convicted in the last 80 years.
Right.
Because every lawyer knows that, and I read an article on it, they said that no judge would ever allow those charges. Like if you came to a hearing of certain charges.
They just throw it out.
Yeah, they would just throw it out right away because it's already, everybody knows that it's in conflict with the charter, and just even if we didn't have the charter, we would still know that it flies in the face of everything we love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
let's make it happen.
Renee, you have a interesting story.
I just have to. Mike would like me to tell you guys to pronounce libel properly. I just wanted to say that, and then
Libel.
I was thinking that, but I didn't say
All right,
anything.
Leo.
Oh, come on.
God damn it!
It's a libel.
It's the Bible. No, he's right. It's the Bible, not the Bible.
It's the Bible.
I always thought it was Bibli. They changed it.
Bibli?
The Bibli. They changed the pronunciation later.
Libel rhymes with Bible.
All
All
right.
Here we are.
Where's the grammar Nazi when you need him?
Yeah.
Right there in the
I was
chat
just,
room.
Right there in
I
the
was
chat
just
room.
being
in the
nice.
chat room.
I didn't want to correct you on
He's very
air
much
like
part
that.
of the podcast still.
It's part of the chat
I
room.
still feel bad about the ounce joke that I made when you were being really serious about your hormones and beef topic.
Is that in 3-ounce portions?
Exactly.
Well,
That was one of my best jokes, and then I felt really bad because
Well,
you were...
this libel also comes in 3-ounce portions.
Shit.
I'm glad you have you're good-natured, Leo. That's good.
All right, Renee. Mormon porn.
We want to go into Mormon porn.
Mormon porn.
In 3-ounce
This sounds
portions.
like a Mormon porn episode.
Yeah. Well, like I was listening to before coming on. I listened to the Dave Edwards Wayward Atheist podcast, and they were talking about Mormon porn.
Oh, is
so,
that right?
Yeah, so it's a thing. So anyway, it's a short article about two people that started up, Mormon themed porn.
Okay.
And it's the first guy that in the article they talked about, and he was basically he was a gay man living as a Mormon and decided he, had feelings when they were doing their little missions and decided they needed to make Mormon porn. Which there's this look of just confusion. But it's so yeah, there's like there's two different sites. There's MormonBoys.com and then MormonGirls.com.
Okay.
Which they're it's all Mormon themed.
Write that down.
Yeah. And yes, I went to the
Way ahead of you.
Yeah. Yes, I went to the website strictly for research.
Yes, I'm sure it was
purposes.
totally for research purposes.
But yeah, so
But tell me, did you start enjoying it?
no,
No, the research. The research.
no, neither one. Kind of creepy, actually.
It didn't. Did you go down the rabbit hole?
Not very far.
No?
No.
He couldn't.
No.
He couldn't last.
No, man.
That's not a rabbit hole you go down.
No, that is not. But so at any rate,
Oh yeah.
the whole thing is just basically it's because it's kind of the Mormons. Let's face facts. It's kind of a weird, repressive yet not repressive kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
Joseph Smith was a horn dog. Like he had plural marriages so he could get as much as possible, And I think some of that teaching has kind of gone through the religion, even though they stopped doing the plural marriages. Mm-hmm. And with stuff like with the whole repression of sexuality and yet embracing it, it's just created this weird I can't even say the right word.
Fetishized?
There we go. That's the
Fetishization?
word. There you go. Of the things like the temple garbs, like the
Yes.
special Mormon magic underwear.
That's
Okay.
right.
And that's a key part of the porn.
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course. So, I mean, the weird thing is there's a lot of, there's a whole element of a lot of, lesbian, gay elements of it.
Okay.
With the magical underwear. Yeah, it's just, there's that whole thing, purity plus sin equals, excitement. So, like,
Edward says magic underwear is not sexy at all.
No, it's not. Like I said, I looked at the website and it's not sexy.
33 wives Joseph Smith had? I think this was 14.
Yep.
But then again, the magic underwear, I guess to each his own. There are...
I mean...
Doesn't it matter who's wearing it? Maybe. Maybe the way they wear it?
I'm not confessing that I like him.
Okay.
I'm just saying that I respect people that do.
You respect people that like granny style.
Sure.
Hey,
I respect
undergarments.
their right to like that.
Hey, if that tickles the pickle,
that floats your boat.
Not everyone's into rubber, vacuum sealed rubber, whatever.
Unbleached
some people
linen.
are though.
Yeah,
some people are.
Yes.
So it's just kind of funny how
that would be. They're uncomfortable. He says. Edward says they're fucking uncomfortable.
Well,
but they're magic. How can they be uncomfortable?
Well, that's the whole thing. You can't be. You can't be
is
comfortable.
Is that the point? I wonder if that's the point, that they're uncomfortable because you make this commitment. It's a metaphor.
Nah, well, maybe.
Right?
Maybe.
Is it like bearing the cross?
Honestly, I think all it is it's
people
because
that get crucified every Easter. It's like, this.
You know what? I don't even think it goes, and I could be totally wrong. I don't think it even goes that far. I think it's just the fact that that's the kind of underwear they had in 1880 whatever when they started the Mormon religion, and it just became.
We've just always done it this
standard.
way.
And that's actually this is a total sidetrack, but when it goes to doing things a certain way. I remember a friend of mine told me that there's a church somewhere in the United States that in the in early 1900s they only drove black cars because that's the only thing that Henry Ford made because they only came in black.
You could buy any car you wanted as long as it was black.
Yeah. So everybody drove a black car. So somehow they got a church ordinance that. Or just a tradition that everybody drove a black car. Right. And to this day, people still drive only black cars that go to that church. Because it's become a norm.
It becomes a norm, yeah. But that's just it. I think that's where it's become a norm, and then because of the rituals, it somehow has become oddly erotic for some of these people because it's very repressive, and when you repress it so far, things kind of go sideways, and I think that's what this is.
I know.
But it's like
how
when
that
you
works.
crush something and it squeezes out the sides.
Yeah.
But I think that this guy who started
shapewear. Hello.
They didn't have Spanx in 1886.
I think the guy who started these sites is actually a marketing genius because you have to study your demographic. Mm-hmm. And Utah and Salt Lake City, they are very, very high porn consumers.
Yeah.
Which is funny because they also because looking into this, there is a Utah senator, I think, who wants to ban porn because he sees it as a health problem.
That's I don't generally watch the show on purpose, but Chelsea Handler, she just had an episode where she had the Utah guy who wants to ban porn, along with a couple guys who proclaim that the science says that porn is an addictive thing that you shouldn't be doing and is harmful and can affect erectile dysfunction and whatnot.
Thing is the more you ban it, the more people want it.
And frankly, there is no science that supports those things.
No,
those claims.
Well, the closest thing one of the big consensus that have come out is that it does affect the way people view beauty and how they view their relationships.
Right.
So it does affect that if you always see the prettiest of women or whatever you may have,
right,
doing everything that that you could ever want. That does
But I
affect.
think that,
So
again, I think that's
there was a
literature
study
and
done
art
about that, and they noticed that people are less attracted to like regular people.
They have a short. Well, I read this a couple of days ago.
I don't know, guys. There's a lot of data debunking every claim about porn, and
I disagree
it's
with that.
almost all just morality dressed up as science. Almost all of it. Like, I mean, we should have Dr. Daryl Ray come on the show sometime.
Should we?
Talk
Can we?
about it.
Can we please?
I will message him.
Yeah.
Yes, I will.
Yes.
That would be fun.
Thing is let's art, literature. That's all shapes all that shit. And like, I mean, I'm not saying porn by any stretch of the imagination is art or literature, but
hey, it's art.
It's art.
Literature.
I'm not sure if it's literature.
Whether you could count
unless
it
you
as
unless you have the school teacher scene where then it might be somewhat
a lot of negative space in that literature.
This is Kayla's favorite conversation.
Yay! I knew I liked you, Kayla.
I mean,
yeah.
This is a really big topic. I just want to say that the rape culture connection to some of pornography is actually something that I think is worth looking further into.
I think there's
definitely.
definitely some argument there. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I think there needs to be like because pornography isn't. I was taught that it was evil, it was bad, and and like it's still not mainstream. And I think there's a lot of teenage boys that watch it and they're not educated of like, this is not reality. This is what happens. This is when like in really good lighting, people that work hard for their bodies.
It's like sex fiction.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
what it is. Yeah. Sex fiction.
And they don't understand like the whole consent thing, and that's huge. And I think you make a very good point, Dave.
I mean, I think there is something to that. Like, I mean, there is. But I know there was reading an article like you were saying how it's fantasies. Like, there was an actual thing brought up for porn, which is totally sidestepping the whole Mormon porn thing. But that they were concerned about shooting porn in HD.
Because
they were concerned about this because they don't look perfect under HD. You're going to see. They're going to see.
There's cellulite. There's flaw.
You're going to see razor burn. You're going to see
ingrown hairs.
Breast implants, scars, and like there was actual concern about shooting porn in HD.
There's a guy on the second floor in this building who could probably correct all that too. So they probably have budgets now for.
I'm sure many of them
post HD correction.
And
just make sure they still have all their limbs, and
And most of the studies that I've read that go into this, most of them do say that there's mostly myths about what it does and does not cause, if it is good or bad.
Yeah.
But the more reliable ones, they all say, well, there are some things like rape culture or also like false expectations and stuff. But then they have a disclaimer for the most part, though this cannot be generalized and extrapolated that this is bad all the time.
This may not be good enough evidence to say that this is.
They say that there are some correlations between some things, but not something that you watch porn, you do this, then you do this. Like that's.
It strikes me as oddly parallel with studies that relate, like say, violent video games to violent behavior.
Yeah.
And those are fairly dubious in most of them.
And a lot of the social sciences are not, there's a reason why they're not hard sciences.
That's true.
Like you can come up with theories that sort of build on the correlation of different things and sort of suggest certain outcomes.
It's worth more interesting, more deeper looking into.
The thing is with the video game thing is similar, but there's also the other idea that like things people see in the media affect them in certain ways, right? Like if females constantly see a certain image in the commercials,
right,
or in TV about what they should be striving towards. It's actually very similar as what you if you see certain things in pornography over and over again, that this is what you should, like there is some influence.
I wonder if there's almost a way to separate the way one looks at these things during say formative years versus adulthood.
Yeah, that could be something too.
I had to think for guys with long hair, and I still kind of, I have to fight that. I mean, Khal Drogo, that was tough for me when he died. But
is that something that you would have had anyway?
because I really liked the show Tarzan back in the day.
But maybe there's Sinbad. A reason that you like the show Tarzan. Maybe that came before the Tarzan thing.
Maybe. And I don't know. I don't know.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, it would be interesting. This sort of thing intrigues me. Like, what makes people tick? What motivates people to do stuff?
Well, and
what are the influences that
kind of brings it back to the Mormon porn, is because that's just it. Is their formative years are in this weird upbringing, and then and that's how possibly the first stirrings they got was when they put on the uncomfortable ball crushing icky underwear, and it did something to them.
Yes, exactly. I think there's something to that too, like that they have that restriction, but at the same time they're like, there's these repressed things that have to come out somehow.
Like, have you ever watched the episode of Key and Peele? And they're pretending to be Muslim guys in a Middle Eastern country, and the woman walks by in her full body coverage, and they're like, "Ooh, look at that ankle! Oh yeah!"
Well, that's like Weird Al made the same joke in Amish Paradise.
Yeah. Right.
They show the kids in the barn with Amish porn. Is her showing an ankle? And
the more you hold back, the more that everything becomes sexualized.
Yeah. Definitely.
Well, I've seen commercials kind of parodying that. Or like in Europe, they're pretty open, and it shows first shows the American guys, right? And a hot blonde walks by in a bikini, and they're like, "Hey, in Europe they let her go naked, yeah." And then they flash to Europe, and they have this old woman walk by, and in America they make her cover up.
See, that's the thing too. Like that.
I know you're trying to be mad, but you're laughing.
Yeah, come on, just let it out. Let it out.
Yes. I can't be mad at you guys. I'm trying to make an interesting point about the whole rape culture thing.
It's not very feminist of us, is it?
Like that weather girl that was given a sweater because her dress was too revealing.
I thought that was bullshit. Yeah. But you know what? On the side of the rape culture, it's kind of this thing of, okay, hot woman walks by, you just go, damn, she was hot. That should be as far as it goes.
That should be it. Like, you really...
Yeah, and let's stop asking, what was she wearing? It doesn't fucking matter what she was wearing.
It doesn't matter.
Well, and I mean, I work with a girl. I don't generally try to bring up work, but I work with a girl at my job, and there's not a lot of women in my industry. Mm-hmm. And people have said to her things like, I'm sure you have a hot body under those coveralls. Or we should hook up sometime. Not like, hey, how's it going? You want to go for dinner, get to know each other,
Does she respond to those at all? Does she ignore them? Does she
it depends on her mood for the day.
Okay.
Yeah, no, honestly. Sometimes she's quite overtly fuck you. And sometimes she's very...
That seems a reasonable response.
Sometimes she just ignores them and walks away. And I've never seen or heard of her flirting with the person after that. She actually asked me, do people think that works?
I had a guy tell me that I was good looking enough to dance with.
In the porno, it does. Yeah.
I'm here to fix your printer.
Yeah. Ding dong, pizza's here.
My toner. My toner cartridge is empty. Don't get the ink on you, don't. Sorry.
I was going to say make a joke about nerd porn, but that'd be totally different. It's just here's a 200 gigabyte hard drive. Oh, baby.
I just came to update your graphics card.
Oh shit.
Oh, now that we've totally derailed.
Yeah, we're not anywhere near Mormon porn anymore,
but we're still somewhere near porn.
We are somewhere
You're never
near
too
it,
far from porn.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Just one slippery slope away from porn at any time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Should we do the NASA story?
The NASA story. Yeah, we can do the NASA story. Yeah.
I
Sure.
can do that one.
Okay.
Because I didn't tell you which one I wanted to do yet.
No, that sounds good. That's your story now.
Okay, but it was really hard to read. There was an article printed in the ferociousmente.com/science-technology, whatever the fuck that means. And the title is NASA found that everything the Bible says is true. And there's a beautiful photograph with a black background, dark background. I've got a black and white printer with the fiery Bible, or book
on
open.
the screen. It's all orange and it's
sweet. And the article starts, for all you scientists out there and for all the students who have had a hard time convincing these people regarding the truth of the Bible, here's something that illustrates God's awesome creation and shows he is still in control. And it goes on to talk about the fact that NASA's space programs are busy proving that what has been called a myth in the Bible is true. And it talks about how they missed some time. They were checking the positions of several space objects like the sun, moon, and the planets and their positions in 100 and 1,000 years. This must be done so our satellites won't collide with the orbits of the planets. I'm not an astrophysicist.
I think all they're doing is they're my understanding of reading the article, even though it's a shitty, terribly written article. But I think what it is they're number crunching. They're number crunching like for their orbits. It's just like how they number crunch for the expansion of the universe. Right? It's all mathematics.
Right, yeah, it's all.
And apparently there was a 24-hour gap in their math. And because the Bible mentions that that God stopped the world for an 24.
Oh,
yes.
That
right.
proves. No, sorry, that was 23 and something.
Yeah, Joshua 10:8.
Yeah.
Was that the
fear them
spot
not,
where
I have
they
delivered them
fought the
into
battle?
thy hand.
Yep, that's where I think it was.
Yeah.
Well, I think it happened twice.
Joshua was worried because he was surrounded by the enemy, and if darkness fell, he'd be conquered. So Joshua asked the Lord to make the sun stand still. That's right.
So it really happened.
And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is this not written in the book of Joshua? So the sun stood still in the midst, this is a tongue twister article, of heaven, and hastened not to go down about a whole day. So that's where they found it.
Okay.
It was like, that's the day that they lost in elapsed time.
It wasn't a math issue. It was...
Yeah.
But they should also check out what happens when you stop the Earth from rotating abruptly. If you hit that fucking handbrake, it's worse than hitting your handbrakes on your car while driving.
And all the people that's staying along to stop the world I want to get off, they're gonna realize what.
Wait
that
a sec.
means.
Didn't it mention earlier something about collisions in space?
Yeah.
So how would spinning? Like, how would the Earth's rotation stop us from colliding with something in space?
Well, somehow it's like
it makes no sense because, like, if you notice, the guy it's not even a scientist. He's like some consultant is part of something. Like, it's fucking.
But sometimes I've found
like
that
janitor.
The source is dailylives.org, and they talk about how that they have to check the positions of several space objects and their positions in 100 and 1,000 years, and this must be done so our satellites won't collide into the orbits of the planets.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
They have to lay out the orbits so that it doesn't take a turn for the worse. Like, they don't want shit to collide.
Because their math might be wrong.
Exactly.
But when they're talking about, are they talking about orbits around the Earth, or are they talking probes that they send into space?
Maybe.
It doesn't specify.
Yeah, because the problem is space is fucking huge.
So the thing is, like, satellites is the thing that's Juno isn't considered a satellite, is it?
No, it's a probe.
Okay, so satellite, to my knowledge, is something that revolves around another planet, like, well, specifically Earth.
Well, satellite would be like, how I get my Sirius. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's around the Earth. They're not.
So what's just the and this is, we're poking holes in this. It must be done so our satellites won't collide with the orbits of the planets. If there's only one planet that the satellites are orbiting,
and we're not even our satellites don't even come close to any other planet.
Right. Like it's really far.
We are nowhere near Mars with our satellites. Like they are very, very close to us. Actually, they are just up there a little ways in comparison to the distance between the planets.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're still super far away.
Yeah.
Here's a weird idea. I'm just throwing it out there. That I think the guy that wrote this article has no fucking clue what he's talking about.
I think it's one of those Daily Bread devotional things that he made a story out of a thing he saw one time on the Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, remember that time in the Bible that...
Right.
So he's just writing a fucking story.
And the thing is, sometimes it's better just to not even try and make sense of something, because when it doesn't make sense, if you try and make sense of it, you follow a totally different logical road than that guy did.
Yeah.
Because some of these things are just pulled out of people's asses.
And now I have a headache.
Well, go to the other article and see how to fix it.
Hang on.
No painkillers.
Yeah, you can't use painkillers.
Yeah. If you're going to do anything, eat the worm.
Because the method is going to
I have to limit my decision making.
So
I have to limit my decision making. That's what I have to do.
You have to limit your decision making.
Just let's
go grab the Bible. That'll help.
Let Siri do it.
Let Siri
the Bibble.
do it.
The Bibble. That's Siri. That's even better.
That's right, the Bibble.
Siri, yeah. Siri doesn't do anything for me.
If you like what we're doing and want to help us keep the lights on, go become a patron at patreon.com/Brainstorm Podcast. You can hear the bonus half hour that we record every episode and get a shout out when you support the show. Become a patron for just $1 an episode at patreon.com/Brainstorm Podcast. Or you can support the show by ordering a t-shirt, mug or other gear from our store at caffeepress.ca/Brainstorm Podcast Gear. If you can't afford to become a patron or buy gear, then why not give us a rating or write a review on iTunes or Stitcher? Every rating makes it easier for people to find us. Thanks for your support.
We are given one life, full of billions of small and large decisions. To be somebody, to change, to be kind, to give hope, to become a better person, and to leave a lasting impact on this planet. It is a decision to be made every single day while your heart is still beating. We've made our decision. Absence of Clothing, atheist and science-based apparel and merchandise, donating 50% of our profits to charity. Look good and feel good, without God. Check us out at absenceofclothing.com and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest for discount codes and other sweet swag.
Use the code BRAINSTORM at absenceofclothing.com and get 10% off.
Hey there. I'm VP Quinn of High Level Games, a tabletop role-playing game podcast and web community. I and my trusty sidekick and producer monkey, the assistant to the regional manager, Joel, hello, talk about various pen and paper role-playing game products in an always interesting and sometimes funny way. We are a for gamers by gamers podcast that looks at how to make these games more awesome for the fans. Check us out on iTunes, follow us at HLG_corporate on Twitter, like our page on Facebook, or just go to highlevelgames.ca for more information. High Level Games, the industry's first choice in taking your games to the next level.
Okay. All right, let's pretend we're kind of semi-educational for the next 7 minutes.
We can do that.
Okay. Skepticism 101, Part 15, breaking down the logical fallacies. This is the 8th fallacy we're covering. Shifting the burden of proof. This is a pretty standard one in arguments with theists or conspiracy theorists or just about anybody who believes in something that contradicts the evidence.
Yeah.
In epistemology, the burden of proof is the obligation on a party in a dispute to provide sufficient warrant for the position. So basically, when you make a claim, you have to back it up with whether by reason or evidence or logic in some sort of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So a good example of that, I guess, would be you can't prove there's no God.
Yeah, that's a good example.
And it's true, I can't. But I'm not claiming there's no God. I just don't believe in the God that you have claimed exists. I don't accept your claim as proven through evidence, reason, or logic. So in this case, the holder of the burden of proof would be the person claiming that God exists. Seems pretty easy.
It's pretty straightforward.
Conspiracy theorists like to twist this a little bit by claiming that the lack of evidence is evidence of their claim. So they in their minds often they have accepted and given evidence to their
usually
claim.
followed up with "look it up."
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Google
when I was
it, sheeple.
Yes.
Because Google's always right.
Crisis actors, motherfucker.
Yeah, there's no blood, man.
It's a false flag. It's a false flag.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't see the helicopters because they're black. Black helicopters, man.
I still can't do the good voice.
Can't do the Alex Jones.
Alex Jones voice.
Yeah, Alex Jones.
I don't have it.
Grasp. Just choke down one too many cheeseburgers.
Yeah, he's about to have a fucking heart attack.
Maybe on air.
One can only hope.
I might pay to listen to that. It's a little morbid, but
morbid.
For $4.99 a minute. Watch
Alex Jones having a heart attack.
Highest rated YouTube video ever.
Yeah.
Way more hits.
Disclaimer: we are not hoping for the death of Alex Jones.
Yes, way more.
Also, I'm
listens
totally
than
sure he was
Gangnam
taken
Style.
out by the Illuminati.
Yeah,
I'm totally sure.
Probably for lunch.
At the Heart Attack Grill. In
Heart Attack Grill.
Yay, educational.
Burger.
All right, so we did that pretty fast. Let's do Atheist for Dummies, Part 14. We even have a bumper for this.
We do? There goes our sheen of professionalism way out the window.
I don't think we do, man.
Okay, we don't have one.
I haven't.
Next
found
time.
one.
All right, I thought we had one.
Blame it on the clam juice.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
All right, so
Gets
what
you
are
every time.
apologetics?
It's the acetaminophen.
Yeah, there wasn't one in there. No.
What are apologetics? Leo, you're a former apologist-ish.
Ish. I would say very, very ish, yes. I should read this page.
Okay. Well, according to Wiki,
I was kidding. But go ahead.
No. According to Wiki, Christian apologetics is a field of Christian theology that presents reasoned bases for Christianity, defending it against objections. Some might say that the apologetics field is evidence that Christianity cannot be true, or any religion cannot be true, because if it was true, you wouldn't need apologists. This page is for Christian apologetics. Many of the arguments can actually be attributed to a more deistic or general type God, and then are often brought down to a specific type God after they try and prove a general idea. there's also a lot of Muslim apologists who like to try and bring in science and whatnot into their arguments.
Yes, because the Quran proves, Big Bang Theory and, stuff like that there.
Right.
Yeah.
But it depends which apologist says it.
Right.
One of the issues with apologists is that it very often turns into a word salad where you have babbling on using big fancy words and putting them together in weird ways that say absolutely nothing.
You like politics?
Yeah, sort of.
Sort of like politics, but not quite.
So we're going to, over the next few weeks, we're going to actually try and tackle individual apologetic arguments. So I guess we basically explained what the broad term is.
I'm excited. That's going to be fun.
I'm not.
You're dreading it?
Because every time I try to watch an apologetic video or read an apologetic argument, I get really mad really fast.
Sweet. Okay.
Well,
the only thing is,
you should check. Maybe one of your pains is coming from that. I don't know. Have you had any pain in your body?
Chest pain?
Ever?
Where do you get your pain? Let me look it up.
No.
No?
Well, I have in the past, but I don't right now.
Okay. Well, watch a video and see if any pain arises.
Pain?
Every time I hear this word apologist, all I expect is someone to say, "I'm sorry."
I'm apologizing.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
It's a very Canadian concept.
Yeah.
It's very Canadian. Yes.
Well, I was going to make a joke when you asked me apologetic something. I was going to make a joke about sorry, but then I was like, I'm not going to derail Corey's thing.
My
here.
attempted educational content. Yeah. No, that's okay.
Just to show you that I have self-control.
Good work.
Though only some.
Good. That's better than I have.
But I only have self-control in 3-ounce portions.
That's all you need.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, I found that
How
bumper.
much?
Do you guys want to hear a bumper? You wanna hear- it was in your download pack. I never saw it.
No, that's okay. We've passed the need for it now. Thank you very much.
Damn it.
The mystery continues.
We're doing so good tonight.
We were doing quite good. All right.
Quite well.
Libel.
I can get in there.
All right,
I feel like that made up for my libels.
Yes. You've redeemed yourself.
Let's do let's start our outro music.
Yeah, sure. Why not? What's our outro music?
I'm sure it's there somewhere.
Thanks for listening, you guys.
We really appreciate it.
Totally, man.
All right.
And lady.
We have no new updates for the Shift to Reason. I've been busy as fuck. Gumby's been busy as fuck. Angela's been busy as fuck.
Yes.
Life is busy.
But I give no fucks.
We will record another half hour for the Patreon page, but you can join us for the next live broadcast, probably on Spreaker. I will post the link on our Facebook page. Pay attention to that. Or you can go to our website and check out the live show page and the upcoming events page, which I will keep updated. There are some upcoming conferences in Canada. There's the annual non-conference this year in Niagara Falls on August 13th. And there's the AB Secular Conference on September 15th and 16th in Edmonton. There will be links in the show notes for those. We appreciate you listening, and if you want the extra content from after the live show, then you can go become a patron at patreon.com/brainstormpodcast, or you can check the website, brainstormblog.net, and click on the bonus content or support pages. We've got some great new goals and rewards set up for patrons, so check those out. Also, thank you, Nathan, our single patron.
You're the best.
You are the best. It's great if you can write a review and rate us on iTunes or Stitcher, and hit that subscribe button to increase our listeners. Thanks, Dave, for our intro music. Thanks to Alex Cabra-Murdoch for doing the voiceover and intro, and for some of our ads. Thank you to Jason Camo for our outro music. You can find his stuff at aloststateofmind.com. All music played is either with permission or under the SOCAN license to play. For more information on SOCAN, you can check out the music license info on our website, brainstormblog.net. You can also get cool Brainstorm gear at cafepress.ca/brainstormpodcastgear or go to the support page of our website. If you didn't get a chance to contact us through the live chat going on during the episode, but think you need to tell us something, you can email us at mail@brainstormblog.net or go to the website brainstormblog.net and go to the contact page. We recently got feedback from one listener. I just read it today, so we didn't have time to talk about it. We'll talk about that next episode. If you have a podcast or website and want a shout out or have a promo to play, let us know. We're also offering advertising to podcasts, bands, people, or organizations on the website. If you want to give us money, we'll put your shit on our shit. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Have a great, 2 weeks.
Bye, everybody.
Wanted to say thanks to everyone who listens to us, shares the show, gives us a rating on iTunes or Stitcher, or supports us through Patreon and Gumroad. We don't have a lot of interaction sometimes with our listeners, but what we have had proves that we attract some of the best people around. Smart, kind, and cool. An audience truly worthy of the titles hardcore and woo-free. Thanks for helping us make the world a smarter place.
This is an opinion-based podcast. Each person on the podcast is responsible for their own opinions, and those opinions don't necessarily reflect the views of the rest of the panel. Any guests or anyone associated with the people on the podcast, such as spouses, partners, children, other family members, friends, or employers. No one person speaks for the podcast with the possible exception of Corey, and he doesn't speak for anyone else on the show. The Brainstorm podcast does not represent the views of our sponsors.